Well, you see the title in the video. I'm not going to waste any time. Let's get right into this review of Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire, which is currently streaming on Netflix as I speak. And before I go on, I don't understand the reason as to why this film is getting all of this hate that it is receiving from everyone on social media, especially on YouTube with all these reviewers. I guess the thing is, well, if one YouTuber hates this movie or hates something, then everyone else has to join the bandwagon and hate it too without forming their own opinion about it. But you know what? That's not me. I'm going to try to be as unbiased as possible when reviewing this. So here we go. My opinion, it's a great sci-fi film. If you're not looking for anything in particular and you just want something entertaining or something to pass the time, then this film did it for me. I mean, I enjoyed the cast in this movie. You have Jaimon Hansu in it, who played as General Titus. You know him from a whole bunch of films he's been in. It has Charlie Hunnam, better known as Jax Teller from the very acclaimed and popular series Sons of Anarchy. Ed Skrein, who plays the main antagonist of the film, better known as Francis Ajax from the first Deadpool film. And the main actress herself, can't think of her name at the time, but her character, Cora, she played as an assassin named Gazelle in the very first Kingsman film that came out in 2015. And unfortunately, she was the main antagonist in that god awful 2017 Mummy film with Tom Cruise that was supposed to start off some dark Universal Monster Cinematic Universe or some shit. But either way it goes, I like the cast too. This was not trying to be anything like Star Wars. And speaking of which, of the main character Cora, at least they didn't turn her into Rey Skywalker the same way how Disney did in the last couple of Star Wars films. I mean, you saw she got her ass kicked. You saw she was going through stuff. She had doubts about herself, but she still managed to come out on top and actually help her crew win the day. And thirdly, this is what happens when you let somebody like Zack Snyder or any director just do their own thing in these films instead of just the studios always being involved, having to have their hand in it to say, well, this is how we want it. No. Now, Zack Snyder may not have had a bunch of, top hit movies because a lot of his films are very hit or miss. But at least when you see him put his mind to stuff, you say, oh, this is his vision. And like I said, regardless, if it's hit or miss, it's still very entertaining to see what Zack Snyder puts out there. Now, of course, the plot is that you have a bunch of asshole space colonizers that come to Cora's home planet to try to take over stuff because what else do colonizers have better to do than to take over stuff and, you know, try to take things that's not theirs and be bullies. And then you find out that Cora actually used to be a soldier in their little colonizer army until she had to change her heart and she tries to do good. And throughout the whole film, she's trying to find a group of, freedom fighters to help, go against these assholes or the motherland as they call them and actually win the day. Another thing that I like about this film too is that it wasn't made on a super gigantic budget. I mean, and you can actually tell, but from a visual standpoint, it looks way better than what you see with the big budget films that come out nowadays. And again, it makes you ask the question, where the hell does the rest of this money go to if a movie costs like $300 million dollars and the effects look like absolute dog shit? Now, of course, there's a lot of exposition in here. The first and third acts are pretty good. The second act, it does drag on a bit, like I said, with the exposition. But once it picks back up in the third act, it tries its best to wrap things up, even though it rushes it. Now, overall, like I said, It's a decent sci-fi film for people who love sci-fi movies. May not be everybody's cup of tea, but if you love science fiction, this is definitely a movie for you. And I can't wait till April until we get part two, The Scar Giver, to see how all of this stuff neatly wraps up. But overall, this is just my quick review of